Joseph Parker versus Fabio Wardley will not be close. This is a great fight. Both men have a point to prove, and a win gets them a shot at the undisputed champion of the world, Alexander Usyk. So make sure to stick around, because today I'm going to break down the key things going into the fight. If you're new to the channel, my name's Lawrence Oswecki, a professional boxer and also a former member of GB amateur boxing team. I'm really looking forward to this fight. You've got the experienced, world-class operator in Joseph Parker, and then you've got the young, destructive fighter who's on the rise in Fabio Wardley. From a straight-up fan's point of view, wanting to see a good scrap, this is a great fight. There's no way it can be a boring fight, because Parker's got a point to prove to show he's worthy of a world title shot. And Fabio wants to show the boxing world he can compete at this level. There's a lot to dissect, so stay with me, I'm going to get into it. Let's first talk about Joseph Parker. He's been on a great run, beating Deontay Wilder, Zhilei Zhang, and the boogeyman, Martin Bakole. People thought he was done, myself included, when he was beaten, stopped by my old roommate, Joe Joyce. Everyone just wrote him off, but huge credit to him. He showed he still had that deep burning desire. He showed that he was willing to do whatever it took to get himself back on top, moving away to the UK, being away from family, making that sacrifice. He showed how much he wanted it, and the best decision he made was teaming up with Andy Lee. And I know from my own experience in the past in boxing, regrets I have, not making the necessary moves, sacrifices to make things work. But you live and learn, you can't turn the clock back, you've just got to learn from your experiences and move on. In credit to Andy Lee, he's reinvented Parker, he's given him that self-belief he didn't have. And Andy Lee was also a great fighter, a former world champion, so he's passing on all that experience. Parker's a great fighter and vastly experienced, a former WBO world champion. 36 fights, 24 KOs, 3 losses. Let's take a look at some of the people he's fought. Carlos Takam, Andy Ruiz, Hughie Fury, Anthony Joshua, Dylan White, Derek Chisora twice, Joe Joyce, and as I said earlier, Deontay Wilder, Zhilei Zhang, and Martin Bakole. Wow, what a resume, he's fought them all. You simply can't buy that type of experience. He's seen every style, and not forgetting, he had a great amateur career. We're talking about a world-class fighter, an elite fighter. You know, he's a great mover, great footwork, good defense, good punch variety. He's got a good chin, and he's now hitting harder since he's packed on the size. He's an all-round good fighter, and he's now got the self-belief, the mental strength since teaming up with Andy Lee. And he fought all these guys at the peak. Really, he's a throwback fighter. I don't mean to rain on his parade, but the downside, all this experience, he's got a lot of miles on the clock. Turning pro in 2012, 13 years in the game, it's a lot. He looks to be in the form of his life, but how long can he keep having tough fights and competing at this level? Father time catches up with everybody at some point. Fabio Wardley's only 3 years younger, but it's not really age, it's the amount of fights, in the years and years in the gym, the wear and tear on the body. The other problem that Parker's got since the good run he had, his last fight with Zhang, March last year, he's only fought 2 rounds against Martin Bakole earlier this year. I always talk about activity in sports being so important to keep the tools sharp. 2 rounds in 18 months is a problem. Being active in the gym is one thing, but fighting under the bright lights is completely different. I do really feel for him because he's done everything right, but the opportunities haven't came. He should be fighting for a world title, but things haven't went his way. Daniel Dubois pulled out with illness, so he lost his IBF opportunity. Then the next thing, Daniel's fighting for the undisputed against Usyk. It was all a bit fishy, but it's boxing, so it was no surprise. In my opinion, in the heavyweight division, there's no one more deserving than a world title shot than Parker. He's beaten some of the best in the division, Wilder, Zhang, Bakole, and still no treasure at the end of it. But he doesn't complain, he just keeps marching on. He needed to keep things moving, a stay busy fight, and Fabio Wardley was presented. In typical Parker fashion, he said, no problem. Let's talk about Fabio Wardley. What a journey, from white collar boxing to fighting one of the top 3 heavyweights in the world. He only started boxing at 20. Similar to me actually, I started boxing at 19, won a national title, the ABAs, in 3 years. What can I say? We're cut from the same cloth. I love Fabio's mindset. Despite his lack of experience, he has no fear. And when you hear interviews, he's very articulate. He knows his strengths and weaknesses, but he's got tremendous belief. He's got something you can't teach. He thrives being in the deep end. He understands that boxing's entertainment business and he wants to be in exciting fights.
I want to be looked at as an entertaining fighter, as someone that can go, oh, I remember I was for that fight. That fight was crazy.
And he's also done things the proper way, the traditional route. He boxed my mate Simon Vallily in 2020 for the English title and stopped him. And that was a great win, a statement, because Simon was a top amateur. He won the Commonwealth Gold. In 2022, for the British title, he stopped Tyson Fury's cousin, Nathan Gorman. And I think he won the Commonwealth and European belts. It's a crazy achievement, having no amateur experience in the fight that left me traumatised when he destroyed my old roommate, Fraser Clark. I've been in boxing for a long time. I've never seen anything like it. He literally caved his face in. Fabio's been learning on the job and he has struggled at times, but he always finds a way. In his last fight with Justice Hooney, for most of the fight, he looked terrible. The golfing experience stood out a mile away. Hooney was a good amateur and as a pro, a top prospect. And he beat Kevin Lerena, who gave Daniel Dubois nightmares. Lerena had Daniel doing the skanky leg. He dropped him multiple times. Daniel did turn it around and eventually stop him, but he gave him hell. Just as Hooney against Fabio was pretty much winning every round, schooling him. I remember at the time, I hadn't seen much of Hooney, but I was very impressed, and I remember he could miss Fabio with the left hook. He was good all round, but lacked a bit of power. But he still managed to hurt Fabio several times, and Parker hits much harder. Just go and ask the boogeyman, Martin Bacoli. Fabio's got a good chin, which kept him in the fight, but I always say the best chins are the ones that don't get hit. After pretty much losing every round, Fabio finds a punch from the gods, and boom, drops Hooney, and he doesn't make the count. And I say punch from the gods, it was actually something him and Ben Davison had been working on. There's footage of the pad work in the changing rooms beforehand. Mr. Roll the Dice got it right this time. You've got to give credit where it's due. I have given Ben Davison some stick in the past, but I do think he's a good coach. I say it the way it is. If I think he got it wrong, I say it. If I think he got it right, I also say it. There's no arse licking, just truth telling. There's an interview with Fabio talking about visualising certain scenarios, drilling certain things. He's definitely a thinking fighter, but he can't always carry these things out in the ring because of his lack of experience. It just comes with time, doing those 10,000 hours. But what he lacks in experience and technical ability, he makes up for in his physical attributes. 20 fights and 19 knockouts. He's got serious power, decent speed, and he moves well for a big guy. And his style's far from textbook. He's unorthodox, he's raw, but that's what makes him dangerous. I know myself the textbook fighters I can deal with, but the unorthodox ones give you problems. You know, different rhythm, punch from different angles, disjointed, nightmare. For example, Prince Nazim, how can you prepare for that style? You can't just get sparring to replicate it. And calm down, I'm not comparing Fabio Wardley to Prince Nazim. Surely you get my point. The real danger that Parker has is the knockout power that Fabio has, face-crushing power. Parker was knocked out by Joe Joyce, and Fabio definitely hits harder. Joe's more heavy-handed than a single punch knockout. He was dropped a few times by Zhang, but Zhang can really punch. I don't know if his chin's been the same since Joe Joyce. I also think the danger man, the boogeyman, Martin Bacoli, made him look good. Because the version of Bacoli that turned up was a baby elephant, out of shape, in a belly full to the brim. And let's not forget, he travelled from the Congo, multiple flights, in skinny jeans. By the time he landed, he couldn't feel his feet. Then pretty much straight in the ring, he still had food round his mouth from the plane. Fabio's in a stage in his career. Each fight he's learning and gonna get better. If Fabio was to win, it'd be a crazy story, from white collar to fighting for the undisputed. Let's get down to business. Prediction time. I believe this fight's about timing, and both guys are at very different stages of their career. I think it's very risky for both, again for different reasons. Right now, we're at a time where the heavyweight division isn't really active because everyone's waiting on Usyk to see what he does next. He's basically holding everything up, but he's entitled, he's earned it. Otherwise, I don't think this would have been the route that Parker would have took. But I believe one guy is too experienced, got too many tricks up his sleeve, and that man is Joseph Parker. He's been there and done it. There's nothing that Fabio can bring that he hasn't seen before. Despite Fabio being extremely dangerous and unorthodox, I think last time against Hooney, he dodged a bullet, but I think this time he walks onto one. I believe Parker stops him. And just quickly, Ben Whittaker makes his Matchroom debut on the 29th of November in Birmingham, the main event, headlining against Benjamin Gavizzi, and he is... It's for the WBC Silver Light Heavyweight belt. His opponent's German. They found him in a local bus stop. Just messing. 19 fights, 13 KOs, 1 defeat. Against who? I have no idea. I know people will be disappointed, but it's his Matchroom debut. Eddie's not going to chuck him in the deep end in a 50-50 fight. Ben's not fought since April. He needs a run out, shake the cobwebs off. A fight that'll make him look good. Eddie's invested a lot of money in him, a long-term contract. He's going to build him to make him a superstar. He's going to look after him, get him the right fights at the right time, because it's in his best interest. People question how good he is, especially after the first Liam Cameron fight. But in the rematch, he put it right. But me personally, I think he's got all the tools. I think he can go all the way. And of course he's got it all to prove, but it's boxing. Nothing's guaranteed. But with Eddie Hearn, he's got a great chance. Let me know what you think. Tell me in the comment section. Tell me your prediction. And don't forget to like and subscribe. And I'll see you on the next one.